Om Namo Bhagavate Arunachala Shri Ramanaya. Namaste, everybody. This is Rajini Tirupati from the Los Angeles Satsang. I'm going to present you my key takeaways from Shri Bhagavan in this talk. I will mainly talk about prayer and about reading the lives of saints, among other key points. Sri Ramana is the personification of Sri Dakshinamurti and Sri Shankara in our times. He was Sri Dakshinamurti in silence and then Sri Shankara with his teachings and writings. Bhagavan composed many prayers and teachings. Among those prayers, the two that I want to talk to you today are about Sri Arunachala Pancharatnam and prayer for his mother. My key takeaways from Bhagavan that I'm presenting to you today are prayer, like I mentioned, about Sri Arunachala Pancharatnam and Bhagavan's prayer for his mother, about Guru, about his grace, about surrender, about renunciation, and reading the lives of saints and attending Satsang. Arunachala Pancharatnam was composed by Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi about Arunachala. The prayer goes as follows.
Karuna Purna Sudabdhe Kavalita Ghana Vishwarupa Kiranavalya Arunachala Paramatman Aruno Bhavachitta Kanja Suvikasaya Tvai Arunachala Sarvam Bhutva Sthitva Pralinametachitram Hrityahamityatmataya Hrityasi bhoste vadanti hridayam nama Ahamiti kuta ayatiti Anvishyantah pravishtayatyamaladhiya Avagamya swam rupam Shamyatyarunachala Tvayina divabdhau Tyaktva vishayam bahyam Ruddha pranena ruddha manasantastva Dhyayan pashyati yogi Didhiti marunachala Tvayi mahiyam te Tvayarpita manasatvam Pashyan sarvam tavakrutitaya satatam Bhajate nanya pritya Sajayatyarunachala Tvayi sukhe magnaha Srimad Ramana Maharshi Darshanamarunachalasya Devagira Panchakamarya Gitau Ratnam Vidamau Panishadam Hi
I try to recite this prayer every day and pray that I understand the import of its essence over time and surrender completely. Another prayer that Sri Bhagavan composed and prayed was for his mother, Srimati Alagammal. The prayer goes as follows. O Lord, in the form of the hill, you are the remedy for the endless chain of births. For me, your feet alone are the refuge. Your duty it is to remove my mother's suffering and govern her. O conqueror of time, your lotus feet are my refuge. Let them protect my mother from death. What is death if scrutinized? Arunachala, blazing fire of knowledge, burn away the dross, absorb my sweet mother in you. What need would be there then for cremation? Arunachala, dispeller of Maya's veil, why then the delay in curing my mother's delirium? O mother, of those who seek refuge in you, is there a better shield than you from fate's blows? What strikes me in this prayer for his mother is that it directly shows that prayer to our Guru Arunachala is the first step to seek refuge in him, and he will shield us from our endless life cycles or births. About the significance of Guru. Bhagavan tells us that our Guru is Arunachala and he draws us to him in subtle ways. And before we even know and before we even know that, we find ourselves drawn to Bhagavan's teachings and satsangs. He says that Guru comes to us when we are ready. We simply need to attend to making ourselves ready. This helps me to constantly think of Guru Arunachala and Bhagavan Ramana in my everyday life. About Guru and his grace. Grace of Bhagavan manifests in our lives abundantly. In fact, it's Guru's grace that has made me aware of Bhagavan's teachings, compositions, and attending satsang. Bhagavan constantly mentioned that his grace alone exists and we need to get ready to receive his grace by erasing our ego. About surrender. To erase our ego is the most difficult task in our lives. And hence Bhagavan says, just surrender to his will completely. This is the most challenging task for me, that is to surrender. Every moment my ego goes saying I, me all the time. And I'm nowhere near to reaching this surrender phase yet. About renunciation. Bhagavan says, being here in this very environment and time, we can learn to live and surrender. This gives me the strength that my life and my situation is the field where I need to practice my renunciation, living amidst all the actions and responsibilities. About reading the lives of saints. Bhagavan himself read about the 63 Nayanar saints. He showed us that reading the lives of saints is one of the ways to prepare ourselves to get ready. Sri V. Ganeshan's Ramana Puranam is one such collection of Sri Ramana's devotees. I try to read this collection often among many other books. Tuning out our mind through prayer, reading the lives of saints, attending satsang will slowly erase our egos and help us to surrender completely to Bhagavan and to Sri Arunachala. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachala Ramanaya.
Namaskaram. My name is Aishwarya Chandramouli and I will be singing Sharanagati with lyrics by Sri Manavasi Ramaswamy Iyer. My parents, Srimati Vasanti Chandramouli and Sri Ravi Chandramouli, are a part of the LA Ramana Satsang. Thank you so much for this opportunity. स्मरणात् गतिफल अरुणाचलनिधये रमणा स्मरणात् गतिफल अरुणाचलनिधये रमणा करुणा वरुणा श्रीरमणा करुणा वरुणा தருணம் ஏது அன்றோ உன் கருணை நோக்கவே தருணம் ஏது அன்றோ உன் கருணை நோக்கவே காலஹரணமாக்கிடில் என் செய்வேன் காலஹரணமாக்கிடில் என் செய்வேன் உலகில் துன்பை நீக்கி இன்பை அளிக்க உலகில் துன்பை நீக்கி இன்பை அளிக்க இன்னும் பராமுகம்
I take great pleasure in introducing Sri Murthy.
Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachala Ramanaya. Namaskaram. I wanted to start with Ganeshan Anna's message, which he gives all the time. Bhagavan's teaching is simple, direct, and natural. And also, if I may add, the most beneficial. The reason for that is all of us are seeking the same thing. Like Bhagavan says in Who Am I? Right in the beginning, all of us love happiness. That too unconditional, unadulterated happiness, which will last forever. That is how science progresses. So the most beneficial will be something which gives you that. It does not have any fear associated with it. Even when we go after the world, we are seeking only that. We cannot say only spiritual aspirants like Bhagavan devotees are seeking happiness, permanent happiness, but not the worldly people. Even the worldly people are seeking only that. That is why they keep going back to the world again and again and again to seek more and more happiness. If what Bhagavan and scriptures say is true, that he said self, that is the jiva, God and world, all three are exactly one and the same. It is my own true identity. The true self is what is showing up as these three different entities. If that is true, if you are seeking world, you are seeking self, isn't it? Only thing is, we are thinking we are obtaining that happiness from what appears to be real, which is the world. But the substance of that unreal appearance is the real self. So the most beneficial is to seek the real self and understand that I am that self. There isn't anything other than me called God out there. To understand that very clearly, intuitively, and with certitude, and if I may add, in the worldly sense, all the time, in all places, is the ultimate, most beneficial thing one can obtain and one can retain. Even saying that one can obtain, retain, in all times and in all places, all are very superficial, relative words. They don't apply to this kind of benefit. So that is why is the most beneficial. And how is it that, what is some detail of the benefits if you want to think about? You can say that, I may be walking in the road and a lot of people will be celebrating a huge function. A lot of joy will be around. It will not bother me. It will not make me get excited or jubilant. I may be walking with somebody died in some house, and in that environment I may be walking. The sorrow will be very plain and obvious for everyone to see. I won't be bothered. The body's ailments, the body's indulgences, body's enjoyments will not touch you. Will I feel the sweet of the candy Sri Devi is having? However much I try, I can never feel the sweet or the candy which Sri Devi is enjoying. Why? Because I am very clear, with certitude, I know that this particular body, this particular mouth, which is speaking now, is what I am. I am not Sri Devi. So when your identity is very clearly defined and it is, even if it is constricted, then everything else is not me. That becomes very clear. That will be the kind of experience for someone who is in that state. I shouldn't even say, the words fail because I cannot say someone in that state. There is no someone when that state is realized. We say Bhagavan is a realized sage. Bhagavan never felt that he is a realized sage because he wasn't a person. Jnani is Jnana. So Jnani is not a person. We keep saying Bhagavan is a person. He was born on a given date. That is celebrated as Jayanti. And he was gone on a given date. That is celebrated as Aradhana. These are all our concoctions. But when you go to sleep, there is no Bhagavan. There is no teachings. There is no Murti. Everything vanishes. So it's not like a very esoteric, mystic state. Everyone has experience of it. When they go to deep sleep, None of us really have any questions. There is no Bhagavan's teaching. There is no scriptures. There is no reverential thinking about scriptures. There is no hatred towards scriptures. There is no extraordinary love towards Bhagavan and not that much attachment to other gurus. So all differences vanish because our own identity vanishes. And we don't seem to have any qualms about that. We gladly and happily and repeatedly indulge in it. You may say it's nature, but still there is no need to feel affinity for something which is happening naturally. Right? But we do feel the need and we love the deep sleep state. We all love it. Therefore, the most beneficial thing, as I mentioned earlier, is being in that state. Or realizing that we are already being in that state. And it is possible for every one of us, just like deep sleep is possible for every one of us. Even to say every one of us is really bad words because there is no every one of us. Just like this Zoom session where you are showing me talking, where I am seeing different people sitting there and listening, all these are being absorbed by myself. The moment I hit the leave, everything vanishes. I watch myself talking, my appearance talking, my thoughts which are following that talking, and the thoughts which are now observing and commenting about the talking. Plus I am watching every one of you and your reactions. All these are just appearances in the Zoom conference. Once I press the leave button, everything goes off. Similarly, once I press the leave button to leave everything which appears other than myself, including my thoughts, including my impressions about the world, about my people and other people, my language and other languages, my country, other country. Once I press the leave button on these appearances, I see that everything has vanished. If you know that by reading and studying and understanding, like a secondary knowledge, which we constantly obtain in this world, then it is not that the knowledge is yourself. The knowledge is something you obtained using the instruments of knowledge. Like, for example, the Jnanendriyas, the instruments of knowledge, and the mind, which is the Andakarana. So that knowledge is secondary knowledge, Bhagavan says. Why? Because that secondary knowledge is chuttarivu, or something which can be pointed to. It is not iruparivu. It is not your knowledge of your existence. And hence that knowledge will come and go. And it is part of the dvandvas or the dyads. And in that state, there isn't I am and you, the appearance of Murti, the characteristics of Murti, the thoughts of Murti, the specific body dimensions are all as false as the others' characteristics, others' thoughts, others' perceptions. All those are equally false along with my own appearance. It sounds fantastic and unattainable, but it's still very simple, natural, and direct. Let me stop here and see if you have any questions.
You were starting with Jnanam being Jnani, and if that's the case, who is the one who writes all these, various from Nanya replies onwards? That person or that which writes all this and interacts with the world.
Where are the writings? You may show me the book. You may recite a few hymns of Bhagavan and say, that's the writing I'm referring to. Right? So that writings are teachings just like Bhagavan's appearance, Bhagavan's personality, Bhagavan's characteristics are all unreal appearances in oneself. Did that question arise when you go to sleep? Or will it arise when you are in deep sleep? It will not. But you existed in deep sleep. Why weren't that question being asked in deep sleep? Because the identity was lost. Without the identity, the question will not arise. And Jnanam is Jnani. Sounds pretty esoteric and mystic. But how can it be otherwise? Because if Jnanam is same as what Bhagavan sings in Arunachala Aksharamalai, Vedandatte Verara Vilangum Veda Purul Arul Arunachala. That's what he says. Verara vilangum means what? Something which shines without a second. That is the state being prayed for by the devotee in that verse. Right? If that is the state which indicates jnanam, verara vilangum, that is self-effulgent state where there is no second, how can there be a jnani? How can there be an individual personality there? So jnani has to be jnana. If we call somebody is a jnani, that can be a jnani only when the jnanam is same as jnani. Only when the jnani name and the jnani shabdam has no real meaning.
அருள் நிறைவான அமுதக்கடலே விரி கதிரால் யாவும் விழுங்கும் அருண கிரி பரமான்மாவே கிளருளப்பூ நன்றாய் விரிபருதியாக விளங்கு சித்திரமாமிதெல்லாம் செம்மலையே நின்பாலே ஊத்திதமாய் நின்றே ஒடுங்கிடுமால் நித்தியமும் நான் என்றிதயம் நடுத்திடுவையாலுன் பேர் தானிதயம் என்றிடுவர் தாம் அகமுகமாரந்த அமலமதிதன்னார் அகம் இதுதான் எங்களும் என்றாய்ந்தே அகவுருவை நன்கறிந்து முன்னீர் நதி போலும் ஓயுமே உன் கண் அருணாச்சலனே ஓர் வெளிவிடயம் விட்டு விளங்கும் அருணேசா வழியடக்க நிற்கும் மனத்தால் உளமதனில் உன்னை தியானித்து யோகி ஒளி காணும் உன்னில் உயர்வுரு மீதுன் உன்னிடத்தில் ஒப்புவித்த உள்ளத்தால் எப்பொழுதும் உன்னை கண்டெல்லாமும் முன்னுருவாய் அந்நியமில் அன்பு செய்யும் அன்னோன் அருணாச்சலா வெல்கும் இன்புருவாம் உன்னிலாழ்ந்தே அருணகிரி ரமணன் ஆரியத்திற்கண்ட அருமறை அந்த கருத்தேயாகும் அருணா சல பஞ்சகமணியை தன் தமிழ் வெண்பாவால் உலகு கழித்தானு வந்து அரியாதீதர ஜீவர தகவாரிச குகையில் அறிவாய் ரமி பரமாத்துமன் அருணாச்சல ரமணன் பரிவாளுளம் முருகானல பரணார்லிடு குகையார்ந்து அறிவாம் விழி திரவா நிஜம் அறிவாயது வெளியாம் வாழி வாழி ரமண மகாகுரு வாழி வாழி அருண மகாகிரி வாழி வேங்கடன் வாய் சொல்லும் பாடல்கள் வாழி ஊழிதோர் அன்பர்கள் வாழியே. Now over on to Seattle.